Hi, welcome back to Cambridge Inside Out. I'm Judy Nathans.
And I'm Robert Winters.
And back to his favorite stuff. Elections,
Yeah,
numbers,
Yeah.
who voted, who didn't. We know you have voted in every election ever.
Oh,
What, are there like 38 people?
Actually,
Cambridge?
no, it's not down
Oh.
to 38, but funny you should ask.
Yes.
I had thought about that, but I'll speak to it.
Yeah.
I did manage to get the, what I do periodically is I request from the Election Commission, I get whatever the current voter database that's used for a specific election.
So in other words, how many people are registered?
Yeah, all the registered voters. And then I also get, after the election, it takes a little while to do the data entry, but eventually what you do is you get a record of who voted. Not how they voted, but who voted.
When you say who, do you mean who, specifically who, or
Specifically.
Democrat? The
Specifically.
name?
The names of the people who voted.
And they let you see that?
It's a public record.
Really?
So
Oh.
yeah, anybody could get it. In fact, the truth is,
Oh, well,
is
of
that
coast. That's what the
Yeah,
candidates use all the
yeah.
time. They buy those lists and it
they
says
buy those lists.
when did they last. It's,
You're right.
Okay.
Though that in itself is a changing practice. Once upon a
Really?
time, the standard practice in all political campaigns was you target most likely voters.
Well, that is what they do. I mean, they're not going to get Republicans and go, okay, they're going to get, if they're a Democrat running,
Right.
they're going to get the Democratic voters that voted in the last or whatever.
Right, but
Yeah.
there's one risk in doing that.
Yeah.
If you basically target only the predictable voters, the ones who always vote,
Yeah.
they tend to vote predictably as well. Not
True.
absolutely, but certainly more so than just a random person. So if you were already inclined to vote for a particular candidate, it's a good likelihood you might do so again. So if you're a new candidate, targeting those people who are already committed in a sense to one candidate
Yeah.
might not always be the best strategy.
Well, that's obviously why Ayanna Pressley did so well, because she targeted
Well,
new.
That's what I'm
registered-
saying.
Right, I know,
Right,
but
so-
yeah.
So the thing is
You
that
still want to get your vote out. You don't want people to be complacent. I'm
Right.
talking about the ones that,
Yeah.
let's rely on those, but I don't have it in the bag, you better get out and vote,
Right.
which makes a difference.
Yeah, and it's something I think about often because nowadays, especially when people talk about, and we may talk about it soon on things about public campaign finance
Right.
reform and publicly
Yes.
financed campaign elections. The truth is that I think it's demonstrably true in both local elections and even some major elections that the correlation between how much money you spend on an
right.
election and your
Absolutely.
electoral success, it's not so clear anymore at all.
No, Sumbul Siddiqui pointed that out. She
Right.
said mine was $14 per vote.
That's right. I know because I put up the numbers.
Okay.
Right. Actually, we have a link here if you want to see it.
Okay,
Right.
yeah, no, it's true.
right.
And people that spent more than anyone didn't
Right.
get in. So,
That's right.
yeah.
Okay. So like
It
the
isn't
person,
always.
you know,
It does help to have money, though.
it helps, right? But the thing is that
It does
so
not
a little
guarantee.
more money gives you a
Yes.
little more advantage.
Right.
But money itself doesn't
Right.
buy you the advantage.
No.
Right. So the thing is, you still have to sort of have a base to work from, and more
Retail
and more.
politics, go out there and knock on doors.
Not only,
Yeah.
that's absolutely true, and
Yeah.
I don't think that'll ever change.
No.
But also the notion that you have to have a very deep pockets to pay for, 3 or 4 glossy 3-color.
No, that's going out the
mailings.
window. Not with social media.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
So
and
social media,
has
for
changed
all
the
its good
landscape.
and bad, it has
That's right.
absolutely changed the way
You
elections
can
are
not
operated.
which is why you really question: do we need to pay for municipal elections? I don't think so.
I think
Sorry.
I think some of the arguments that
Yeah.
people have made in the past about campaign finance reform as well as public funding for elections is starting to become a little fluid here, right? I think giving equal platforms or comparable platforms for candidates, I think is a great goal, and I think we should all be striving for that.
But we
it
seem
ain't
to
just the
have
money.
that. I mean, Cambridge, when we have these forums, there's 25 seats up there. They all get it. I'm just saying there are opportunities for people that don't raise a lot of money. Yes, maybe we need to do something, but I'm
Right.
not sure it's
The
what.
one problem we have with municipal elections, and this is late November.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a little early to be thinking about the 2019 municipal
I don't
elections,
know.
but this is around the time of year
Yeah.
when you start to hear names, and I haven't heard. I said it last week as well.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't heard any yet. right? I do
Oh, you
know
mean
of
new people?
new people.
Yeah, challengers.
I do know
yeah.
of some of the candidates from 2017 who are very much intending to give it another shot.
Right, but you know, I listened to Alana Mellon and Symbol Siddiqui's last Women Are Here, and they were already anxious about that. I mean, they were mentioning it's coming up, and oh God, they dread it because I don't
They really
blame
dread
them.
it.
I mean, it's a lot.
Yeah.
It's too much. Yeah.
Well, it's maybe
Yeah.
too much, but the thing is, it's
I mean,
also
you already
the
have to deal with it in January for November. I know, but
you know, it's
I know.
if you actually look at the way it
Yeah.
plays out, it's
Yeah.
that going out and interacting with voters and potential voters.
Yeah.
If you actually look and you see city council orders, they are absolutely influenced by this as you
Oh.
play your way through
Oh my
every
God,
odd
these
numbered
are all.
year.
Oh yeah.
Because
yeah.
you know, some potential voters said this and that, and they said, "Hey, what about that?" Next thing you know, there's a council order looking into this and that.
Yeah, I know. It
So
gets. It's
I think
yeah.
you know, again, I don't want it to just wither candidates, or I don't want it to destroy the souls of helpless
No.
incumbents. But
But you know what you have said in the past, which is what one of the things, you know, have a voluntary limit of spending, and then advertise like hell to people who go over it. That's
Yeah.
all. You know,
Yeah.
like you have said. I guess something that's been thrown around is 30,000, which still is a lot of money.
you know,
But
if you
Is
kind
that the figure you came up with?
you know, honestly, I'd say for school committee elections, it's
Well,
one thing. For city council
true.
elections, it's
Right.
another.
Good point.
And you know, it's sort of like the way you said, how do you ideally should set speed limits on roads based on the
Yeah.
85th percentile or whatever. So you probably have to kind of look at what people actually spend and then say, okay, so there's a baseline standard. Let's
Yeah.
maybe trim it down a little bit. And
Stop those
go for
glossy
that.
things. Oh,
Right. Honestly, they're not what's really
Yeah.
winning the elections.
actually, I think that was more for the last election.
Right.
I don't remember.
So, but I also make real strong distinctions between local elections or municipal
Yes.
election, where you can literally get out there at the subway stations and meet people.
You have
whatever.
something to say. People
Right.
will listen to you. You have
When-
an opportunity. People
But the
listen
further
to
up the
you.
chain you go,
Right.
you know,
Then you
especially-
need more influence.
you
right.
you cannot as
Right.
an individual
Right.
reach people as so you've
That
got to
I
use
wish we
do it
did have
indirectly.
campaign finance on that level. It's true. Yeah. But
Yeah.
I guess it was a question, should it be a ballot question to have voters vote whether taxpayers here should pay for people to run? And I don't think that's going to go over big if they do bring it to a
You know,
ballot. which,
I'll allow my cynical
Yes.
self to express itself. Not that he ever speaks.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Right? He's,
Well, between
he's
your
always hidden
cynicism and
away.
my sarcasm,
Right.
we're really like,
So my cynical person
Yeah.
says simply
Yeah.
that, oh, somebody wants to put that on as a ballot question.
yeah.
That's because they want to influence the municipal election by having that be a ballot question, so that they can basically bring out people and then center their
Oh gosh,
campaign
that's true.
around it.
Yeah, you're
You
right.
know, and that has happened before.
Yeah.
That is not something new, right? So
Yeah.
I'm very
Yeah,
suspicious
I don't think
of
it'll ever
that.
go to a ballot.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it's
Yeah.
not that difficult to do a ballot question, but the thing is, I just don't see that necessarily as the best way to go, and I also don't necessarily see it as the best way of achieving any success, right?
yeah.
But who knows? You know, another thing that people, when they talk about things like municipally funded campaigns for, you know, municipal elections, actually, as Polly Cobb once pointed out, we already do.
Polly Cobb, who
he
used
was
to be
a,
on
she
the
was an
chair-
election commissioner.
right.
She said, we already have publicly funded municipal elections. We've always had publicly funded
In other
municipal
words, people
elections.
contribute.
No.
Oh.
What we're talking about
Oh.
is publicly funded municipal election campaigns,
Oh.
right? And I think that's kind of important to
So
understand.
what are you saying? I don't know.
When you talk about
Publicly
publicly
funded
funded, it
election.
means funding the candidates. You know,
Okay.
because we of course we operate elections and we do voter information and we do a lot of things.
Right, but we don't do it per person.
We don't do it per person, so that's the question. Is it defensible to really want to
But we
do
hold
that?
forums, or different groups hold forums, and that
I-
gives everybody. Those are free.
I know, but
You don't pay to go to those,
Right,
and the
but-
candidates don't pay to
you
sit
know,
on them.
They're also voluntarily done, and they're
Yeah.
also, if I might
Yeah.
observe, terribly ineffective. The thing is that I think that the candidate forums that we do in every municipal election are good exercises for new candidates to sort of
Yeah.
strut their stuff,
And show who they are.
show who they are.
Yeah.
But the number of people who attend these forums.
No, but they're
is-
televised. Thank you, Cambridge Community Television.
Oh,
because
absolutely.
they do most of it. In fact, I think they do
Right.
all of them.
Right. So the only
yeah.
way you actually get any effectiveness at all is because CCTV is out there
And they put it on
shaking
the
bushes and making it
No,
happen.
it is. You can see them
You can
after
see
the
them.
fact, so it's
Right.
not like they're not.
Right.
able
But the
to
thing
be
is-
seen, just like our show.
Right.
Who's
But
watching now? 3 people, maybe.
thousands.
But it's on all over his website,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
YouTube, and I mean, it's
Right.
constantly.
Right. But the thing is, it's the days of big campaign rallies with
Oh,
hundreds or thousands of people coming out to
that's
roar
Trump's
the
territory.
candidates at a municipal
That's
level. That's just
No, that's
not
crazy.
generally how it happens.
No,
You know?
it's all like it's small enough area you can
Right.
you can have.
Yeah, I think
Whatever.
if we want to do some real reform
Mm.
for how we do municipal elections, we should find better ways of connecting voters and candidates. That's not the same as funding the candidate's campaign.
But isn't that the same argument you would give to having when we have committee meetings? How do you get the people that it's going to most affect out
That's
of those
right.
meetings? So it's
That's
almost the same.
So
thing.
it's a
Yeah.
combination of different media channels.
Right.
I do my part trying to do Cambridge candidate pages, but
Right.
the thing is that can
Oh,
be
you do a
improved.
big part on that.
Right.
Yeah.
I do a fair amount. But the thing is that other people are sort of pitching in as well.
Right.
I think there's probably a sweet spot of a sort of a best way to do that.
Yeah.
It draws enough people in and doesn't overwhelm them, so that they'll actually stick around and watch it for a while
No,
to find
you're
out
right.
who these people are. You
Yeah,
know?
I was just looking up the series of forums that Mayor McGovern and Sumbul Siddiqui are organizing starting tomorrow night, Wednesday at 5:30 at the Maynard's, the old Maynard Cat, whatever. Go on the website, the city website. You'll see it, or which is to address some of that. It's trying to bring together people from different to try to address.
I think this one is
Equity
a little
and-
specific, though. It's not certainly
Well,
doesn't address election related.
Not
stuff.
election, but it's like getting the people that live in our city that maybe don't know each other. And that's
Yeah.
partly, I don't know, I'm just saying, I'm
You know,
throwing it out there because
But
they've
listen,
been promoting it and,
I love Brian Core to death. One
No,
of
this
my
isn't
best
having
buddies,
to do
but-
with him.
No, I'm just saying is that.
yeah,
But he tries to do these sort of meet your neighbor days and whatever.
Oh,
I
yeah,
haven't
that.
heard any
No.
big stories of great success about
no,
these
no,
things.
this is different.
People
This
are
is a whole
busy and
different
it's very
thing.
hard to do it. So this
Yeah.
to me is a big challenge.
Yeah.
How do you actually create common space for people
Right.
to sort of, whether you're talking about elections, about
Well,
learning about candidates or meeting
I
candidates.
think this is
We don't do a very good job of it.
I think this is they're going to facilitate. I think this is a start to address that because look where they're having it. They're having it in what do you call that? The port? Where's the
Yeah,
name?
yeah. No.
Anyway.
So, but anyway, so getting back to the data.
Oh
aspect
right,
of
yeah,
things.
your data.
So I get this data from the Election Commission, and then what I do is I do a little bit of an exercise just to make sure that I didn't make any mistakes.
Uh-huh.
Basically, let me be honest, because when you're importing big data things and joining it in with other databases, whatever, so I'm basically merging like 35 different files into this combined mega database that has not only the voter registration information but all the voter histories
yeah.
going back to 1997.
Wow, you know
Now-
everyone that's voted.
Yeah, but now nobody needs to know realistically whether somebody voted
Right.
in a 1997 election. But I kind of keep doing it because I'm curious, and also because it's part of the test that I do to make sure when I do the upgrade that it's done. So I did a big upgrade. So anybody who gets it because they download it for me, it's available. Just, if you want to go get it or ask me. But the thing is but the number of people who have not missed a single citywide election since 1997, that includes
You.
municipal elections, that includes me,
Yeah.
right? Municipal elections, state elections, federal elections, primaries, right? As long as they were citywide,
Yeah.
so that anybody could have voted in them, right? So what are we down to now, right? So I always, ask people the fun question: how many people? There's 67 or 70,000 people
That are registered.
registered voters right
Really?
now.
70,000
It's
out
up
of
around
a
that.
population of 110. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right. Now the thing is that may include some active and inactive
True.
voters who have actually moved
Right.
away, but they're still on
Right.
voter rolls. So,
Right.
So, in fact, every year after the presidential election, the number of registered voters tends to drop because there's a lot of voter registration around presidential election time, and then less so during the intervening years. Now, this was not a presidential election year. This was
No.
a state election
Well,
year.
but it was midterm.
Midterm
It's
elections.
always- which
right,
is,
but it's not as big as the presidential
no,
years.
it was the highest turnout,
But it was, but we had a real bump up. I mean, there's a lot of
I think the
interest
state
in
said it's the
voting again.
highest turnout since 19 something.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely
for this
some
for
changing
midterm.
patterns now
Well.
in you know the way the assumptions that have always
I
worked
think
in
you
the
can
past.
attribute that to Trump, frankly.
I think it's true. You know, he's
Yeah.
doing more for voter turnout
know.
than any
Registering
president
more
in
people than anybody.
all of American history.
Look at all the people that have been elected: women,
Right.
blacks, white, brown. Oh,
and you
amazing!
watch if he decides to quit after one term,
I wish
he will
would.
count that as one of his greatest accomplishments.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
I hope he. Oh.
But I
Anyway,
know. But,
let's not talk about
so
that.
anyway, we're down to, I think we're the total number who haven't missed an election since 1997 out of the 70,000
Is what?
114,
Wow!
and I know about half of them personally.
Wow!
Right, it's a
Have
very
you told
elite-
them?
But some of them know because they contact me and say,
Yeah.
"Am I on the list? Am I on the list?" I go, "Yeah, you're on the list."
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
No, I've missed a few,
Yeah.
definitely. But I voted
So
a lot of them.
whenever I get that, then I do a few other things, you know, some tests or whatever. So I did something that was a little fun the other day. Now this is a continuation of something I did a year ago as well. I was interested in sort of seeing what the breakdown by age was.
And you did it for the
of
municipal
people,
election.
and I did it for the municipal election and then a couple
Right.
of years before that.
Okay.
So over the weekend, because I was kind of laid up over the weekend, a little
It
under
was
the weather.
cold, yeah.
So what I did is I just made some charts and graphs. So these are little histograms that show distribution by age. They probably require a little bit of explanation, so we'll see what we can do. Okay, so what we see here is on the, and I just want to point out here, the graphs on the right are really boring. They're just the distribution by age of registered voters in Cambridge in 2018, 17, 16. And the only thing that needs to be said about it is that the overall numbers are up, but the distribution by age hasn't really changed much.
So what are
at
we
all.
looking at here?
Well, I'm just looking on the right ones first, okay?
Here?
So these are just registered voters.
Okay.
So if you were to look that down, and let me see, I just want a page, just scroll down a
Yeah.
little bit. If you look at all of those, there's not really any change.
Oh,
The bottom is a whole other matter. We'll get to
okay,
that
all
in a
right,
minute.
all right.
Right.
So
But-
looking at from 2012.
Right. So there's little minor changes. The overall
Yeah.
number of registered voters are,
Yeah.
it peaks at about 8,000, then 7,000,
Okay.
then 7,000. Now it's over 8,000 in
16 it went up
2016.
quite a bit, yeah.
Go up a little bit higher now. Up here it's about 8,000. Now
It
go
went
to
down
now
in
go to the
17
go to the very
from-
top one.
yeah.
Go to the very top one.
Yeah,
You see now we're up at, what are we up there? About
8,000?
8,000, okay?
yeah,
So the point is it doesn't really change all that much from year to year to year.
yeah.
But what's far more interesting is to look at the distribution of people who actually voted in a given
Right.
year's November
Okay.
election. Okay, so at the top one, this is the distribution of the election that just happened.
Right here?
Yes,
Okay.
voted 2018.
This is the midterm
Right.
and,
So
okay.
if you look at it, what's actually distinctive here
Oh, yeah.
is that the profile isn't particularly different than those of registered voters.
So this is the age.
Right. The only thing that you will notice is a little bit different is when you get up into the around 65, 70 range here,
Yeah,
right, there's a bump here which is a little higher than it was. It's a little bit stronger
yeah,
there than it was for all registered voters. In other words, voter turnout amongst people in that age group is a little better, right?
Yeah,
and I
that's right.
can demonstrate that a little bit further
Sure.
down. Now, if you look at the graph below it, that's
this one.
distribution by
This
ages
was
of
the-
people who voted in 2017.
this is the presidential year.
Municipal election.
Oh, wait, I'm
2017.
sorry. This is not the.
Okay, so what's really
Oh,
interesting in that one is that it's actually, except for the fact that there's a big jump in the people who are in the sort of 65,
Yeah,
70 range.
that's really
but that's
big.
always been there. What is
You mean
actually
for municipal? It's always
Yes.
been?
But what's different is that you'll notice that the younger voters there were very, very strong there as well.
True.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, if you go down a little bit further to voted in 2000.
But wait, I have to ask you a question here. Why does it say 1,600 here and it says 5,000 here?
Because a lot more people voted in the state election than do in the municipal election.
Oh,
So
okay.
everything
Oh,
is
right. I
scaled.
see. This is okay.
Scaled.
All right.
Okay,
So
so let's scroll down.
let's
a
go
little
down.
Bit.
We're looking at
All right.
2016.
All right. So you look at, if you compare 2017, which is municipal,
Yeah.
to the presidential election 2016,
Wow.
you'll notice that in fact the distribution is pretty almost the same as the registered voters. So there wasn't a
Oh,
particularly
right, yeah,
strong
look, you could
bias.
almost lay that right on top
Yeah.
of that, yeah.
So, so that's how it worked in presidential
Interesting.
elections. Now, if you look at the top one, which is voted 2017,
Yeah,
compare that to voted 2015. So those are two municipal elections. You'll
they're very
notice,
similar.
no.
Oh, not on this end.
Extraordinarily different.
Oh, yeah, but this is similar, this
Right.
part,
So
but
the
not
thing is,
this.
so the people who were in the kind of 65,
Yes.
70 range there, they always turn out.
Right, but
But
here,
what was
the big
fundamentally
difference
different in
is the younger
2015 was
people.
it was a big bump.
Wow, look
And
at
that
that.
actually helped to
Yeah.
explain, Symbol Siddiqui and a few
Well,
other
there was, what,
candidates.
5,000 more votes than the last election?
Yeah, but the thing is that
Yeah.
the age distribution was
Sure.
such that I think it gave a bit of an advantage
Absolutely,
to some of those.
right, so that was the
candidates.
26
Right.
to 32,
Yeah.
yeah.
Now, if you look at 2000, let's go down a little bit more, and you'll see that 2015 profile. If you looked at, so again, you see that they're different when you go from state to federal to
So
municipal.
this is also municipal, right?
That's municipal, right? So it was mainly those 65-year-olds that were determining the outcome of those elections.
Yeah, but wait, I gotta back up a little bit. This is the big presidential one, right?
Yes. Yeah.
I don't get why this age group, which is where I am, is so low here.
It's not low. It's just
Oh.
that that's
The numbers
it's
are
roughly,
different.
It's roughly in proportion
It
to what
is,
they were
okay.
amongst
That's what
registered
confuses me.
voters. So if you look to the graph to the right, you see that's exactly
Yeah.
what you would have expected.
Okay, but there's a
Yes.
pretty big turnout of the 29
Right. So
to
the thing is
32,
that you're
yeah.
starting to see more younger people voting.
Yes, more
right?
engaged, okay.
Maybe not the youngest of the young voters, but
No,
the thing
no,
is
right.
it's happening.
Yeah. Mhm.
Now, if you were to go look further and further down, what you'll see is that, in fact, there's this swish back and forth. Municipal elections, a lot of people, like in 2013, very high numbers in those sort of 65-ish range.
Yeah.
Not as much in the youthful range, but then when you go to presidential elections, like
Which was what?
2012, for example, you see how, in fact, the young people come out to vote. So
Interesting.
what was fundamentally different in
Yeah.
the 2017 municipal election
Mhm.
was a lot more younger people came out to vote
Right.
for it. Now I think that some
Yeah,
of that may have
yeah.
had to do with the sort of the bike lobby, but
It
I don't
had
really
a
know
little-
for sure.
But it also had
Right.
to do with Trump and
And had to
young
do with
people getting
Trump,
active,
yeah.
women,
Yeah.
everything. All
So
that,
again, just
yeah.
this is the last of the graphs we'll bore you with here, but
Yeah,
if you look
so,
at down here with the
This one?
so
oh, look at
percent-
this, I've got a hand, I've never seen
well,
that
that's
before.
because it
Did
could-
you do that on
No,
purpose?
well, let's not worry about it.
All right,
All right, but that here is percent turnout 2017,
uh-huh,
and over on the right, it's percent turnout in 2018.
okay.
And there's nothing particularly spectacular to see here, other than to see that the percent turnout amongst people who are like 65, 70, 78
higher.
is really where it peaks.
Yeah.
And it especially peaks up around 80% in a state
Yeah.
election,
Yeah,
or a midterm election,
Yeah.
and it still peaks for
but
municipal,
it's
but
way
probably
below.
peaks around 60%.
Yeah, interesting.
Right? But the thing is that you'll notice that, so the voter turnout is lower in the lower age ranges as a
Yeah.
percentage of
Right,
all voters. It's
right.
just that there are so many voters of those younger ages in a city like Cambridge. So they are, in many, many respects, they are kind of like, they're kind of an untapped potential. So anyway, we're back to us.
Okay, but I don't get why, aren't there more younger people than older
There are
people?
more younger people.
Oh,
but the
but
thing is that
You're-
even if only
these are registered voters.
even
though.
if only
Okay.
even if they only showed up at 30% voter
Yeah.
turnout, there's so many of them, they could still have a big
Sure.
peak of voters.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Okay.
So my speculation, maybe let's not even call it speculation, but if you're planning a political campaign for the municipal election year, is the younger voter turnout? Could you count on that being up there again? I don't know if you can.
I think you
Right.
can.
I think you have to target them, right? But the thing is there the hot burning issue that brings them out, or
Well,
not?
I think they're just taking over. I
But
mean,
they've always taken over.
no, but
that
I think there's
doesn't mean
more
they
so
vote.
between the bikes. No, I think that they're
Yeah, but
more
they don't always
entrenched in
vote.
marijuana.
Yeah,
But they prove that they are voting. I think.
I think they
In the
have.
midterms, they voted.
There
yeah.
are some indications
Yeah.
now, like in the midterms, that they
Yeah.
are.
Yeah.
But there is a certain thing that happens in politics, which is that you can keep them energized,
True.
or
Yeah.
they can go, all right, this isn't going anywhere. We're still stuck with this guy, so I forget it. Why
Well,
go? And they can give up. They
but
give
I
up.
don't know if they're going to give up, but they may take things for granted because assuming all the incumbents run, there's no empty seats. There's no excitement about who's going to, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's the same people. So,
if
I really like them.
If you have
and-
9 incumbents running,
Yeah.
and if there was a perception that
Yes.
it's going to be 9 in, same 9 out,
Right. Then you may not
then-
want to vote.
right? So
Yeah.
that may cause some people to not bother,
Yeah. Right.
right?
But hopefully, if you really cared about that candidate you voted your number one to, you'll
Right.
get out there because they're going to need that. They can't, because isn't that happened before? You might have you might have been number one and then you go down, or
You know,
I'm trying to
I
remember
mean,
now.
I'm probably the biggest proponent of proportional representation
Yes.
in the state, right?
Right.
Though there are some people who are really competing for that title now, I assure you.
That's
but,
good.
But the thing about it is that there are some specific difficulties with PR voting, which is that, and for the most part, it's a wonderful system. I wouldn't trade it in for anything.
Yeah.
But there is a great vulnerability, which is that if you are an incumbent, incumbents always have an advantage.
Sure.
But if you're an incumbent and there are some attractive, as Glenn Kuchar say, a pretty new face, which has nothing
Shiny
to do
new
with gender, by the
toy
way.
or shiny new
toy.
yeah, whatever.
The thing is that you might, as a voter who used to be loyal to Counselor so-and-so, say, well, I think he or she is safe,
Exactly.
so
right.
I'm going to maybe give my number one to somebody else.
And meanwhile, that number one's going to get tossed
Right.
out, and your number
Now,
two, which was your favorite,
But
may
if,
not
if
get.
enough, if very few people did that, then
It would-
challenges would never have a chance.
True.
If there were no empty seats.
Right.
So you sort of want them to do that, but
Right.
if you're an incumbent, you really don't want them to do that.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So it's
yeah.
one of the great challenges for incumbents is to somehow convince people that you
Yes.
want people to come out and vote, and you want to sort of take a look and rank some of these other candidates. But on the other hand, you don't want to watch your number one votes disappear, because that's really what gets you in
Yeah,
primarily.
it's better off to give your favorite the number one and give that new person number two, because chances are that number one's
But-
going to have surplus votes. No?
Chances are nobody gets surplus votes.
Good
One
point.
or two candidates at most get surplus votes.
Oh, that's a good
So
point.
if
You're
you
right.
vote number
Yeah.
one for your favorite incumbent who
Yeah.
doesn't who
Oh,
doesn't get surplus votes, then your vote just stays with that, and your number two doesn't count for anybody else.
oh, that's
So there's
true.
there's an argument you can give to give your
Oh,
number one
yeah.
to the new candidate, but that boy
Yeah.
that is something no
Figuring
incumbent wants to hear.
Okay.
All right?
Forget I said that.
All right.
Then. Okay.
Right, but anyway, these are
Yeah.
things that I assure
Sure.
you candidates start thinking about
Oh,
even
yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Is how do you fashion so you
Right.
have to remain fresh, you have to remain the interesting candidate, even if there are
Yeah.
new people on the
By
horizon.
the way, while we have a couple, participatory voting starts December
this,
1st.
very quick. Yes, that's
So
Saturday, I think, right?
Yeah, December 1st.
So-
Just Google Cambridge participatory budget, whatever.
All right. See you next week.
Bye.